Chapter 1. At dawn, the city of Nantes awoke in a haze of silver mist that clung to the river like a memory too stubborn to fade. The year was 2050, and though the city looked the same with its stone streets and quiet cathedrals, its soul had shifted, like the ghosts that wander at the edge of a dream. Julian, a man whose heart ached with a quiet rebellion against the future, opened his eyes to the soft hum of machines. His apartment, if it could still be called that, was a seamless cube of glass and steel. After lunch, he returned to the sleek corridors of the tower where he worked, the air cool and synthetic. His mind plugged back into the network, where his thoughts were processed alongside thousands of others, all connected in an invisible web of energy and light. Julian's job was not so much to think, but to monitor, to ensure that the algorithms were functioning, that the flow of data continued uninterrupted. Chapter 2. Beneath the stone streets of Nantes, hidden deep below the river and the foundations of the old city, lay a second city, a metropolis of the future, entirely underground. This world, invisible from above, pulsed with an eerie artificial light, as though it were the living heart of the surface city. Yet it was a place apart, a place where the sky had been replaced by ceilings of polished metal and luminous screens that simulated the movement of the sun. The streets were tunnels, carved in gentle arcs, illuminated by soft pulsating lights embedded in the floor. People moved through these tunnels in sleek, pod-like vehicles that floated soundlessly just above the ground, propelled by magnetic fields. There were no sharp turns or sudden stops. Everything moved with a smooth, almost hypnotic rhythm. Public spaces where people gathered were enormous, cavernous halls with ceilings so high that they felt endless. These spaces were designed to mimic the world above, a strange, synthetic attempt to recreate the plazas and parks that people once knew. Trees, carefully cultivated and genetically altered to thrive without sunlight, lined the walkways, their leaves glowing faintly in the artificial light. Where holographic displays rose from the floor, projecting news, entertainment, or even virtual landscapes from around the world. People gathered here not to talk, but to experience. Conversations were rare. Instead, they connected through immersive virtual interfaces. They stood alone, surrounded by glowing holograms, their faces bathed in light as they interacted with distant friends. Every space was polished, pristine, and efficient. There was no clutter, no decay, no aging surfaces. Even the textures, whether metal, glass, or bioplastic, seemed uniform, as if crafted from the same design. The underground city had stripped away the imperfections of life above, offering a sterile kind of beauty in exchange for the raw unpredictability of the world that once was. Chapter 3. As Julian descended deeper into the heart of the underground city, he was struck by the vastness of the spaces that opened up before him. The halls were monumental, stretching endlessly into the distance, each adorned with paintings that climbed the walls to meet the ceilings in a vibrant embrace of color and light. These murals were not mere decoration. They were the new repositories of knowledge, a radical shift from the sterile databases that had once served as the primary archives of the past. Every inch of these halls was alive with storytelling. Grand frescoes depicted mythical scenes, ancient heroes, and the narratives of human experience, reimagined and reborn in a kaleidoscope of hues. The walls shimmered under a soft luminescence, each brushstroke pulsating as if the stories contained within them breathed with life. Julian wandered among them, his fingers grazing the textured surfaces, feeling the pulse of history beneath his touch. The ceilings were painted with constellations and celestial beings, a nod to the lost stars of the surface world, while the lower walls told tales of the Earth's creation, of the struggles and triumphs of humanity, and of the natural world that had once thrived above. As Julian lay in bed staring at the ceiling, he felt the quiet hum of the city vibrate through the glass walls. The future was a strange, relentless force, one that he could never fully escape. Yet, in the stillness of his room, he found a small solace, a quiet space between the gears of progress, where he could still breathe. And for now, that was enough.